Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going through the lineups, tips, and previews of round 18 of the NRL Telstra Premiership of 2023. And this is round 18 and brainy beanies for brain cancer round. Now, for people that don't know what beanies for brain cancer round is, it's run by a former NRL player called Mark Hughes. It's $20 a beanie, raising funds for people that are suffering through brain cancer. And actually, I have a beanie myself, but I can't show you, but because I don't have my camera on. And plus, let's get into it. First game, the Sydney Southern Derby between the Sharks and the Dragons. Now, as we all know, the Sharks have been playing some good footy. Dragons, well, it's a bit of an opposite for the Dragons. They played absolutely terrible last week against the Warriors. They lost 48 points to 18. I could be wrong about that. Let me have a look at the draw again. 48 points to 18 against the Warriors. Now, let's go through the lineups between the Sharks. Well, they had a bye after a pretty convincing win over the Bulldogs. And for the Sharks, Will Kennedy is at fullback. Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo are the wings. Centres are Jesse Ramian and Cecilia Talakai. Halves are Matt Moylan and Nico Hines. The forward pack is Oregon Kafusi, Braden Hamanueli, and Blake Brayley. Hook is the hooker. Second rowers, Dale Finucane locks out Take Wilton and Britton Nakora. The interchange bench is Cameron McInnes, Thomas Hazelton, Jack Williams, and Wade Graham, the skipper. Well, secondary skipper. And as for the Dragons, clearly there's a couple of outs and ins. Tyrell Sloan is at fullback. Matthew Fiona and Michaeli Ravalawa are the wingers. Tautau Moga is in for Moses Sully after his suspension, I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. And Zach Lomax is the other centre. Halves, Jaden Sullivan and Ben Hunt. Now, there has been some rumours about Ben Hunt. We'll get to that in a sec. Forwards, Francis Molo and Blake Brayley, and Jacob Little is the hooker. Back rowers are Ben Murdoch-Marcilla, Jaden Sewer, and Jack DeBellin. Interchange bench, Tautau Moan, Michael Molo, Toby Couchman, and Jaden Hunt. And here are the reserves. I'm surprised Musgrove's not there, but anyway. There is a bit of rumours around Ben Hunt that he was to leave the Dragons to head to the Broncos, but the Dragons have rejected that because of Ben Hunt's comments. Because of Ben Hunt was still committed to the Dragons until next year, so it could be waiting for that. And for the reserves for the Sharks, Connor Tracy, Maureen Harodi, Toby Rudolph. So we might see him back at some point. Braden Trindle, who's been playing some good football for the Sharks and for the Newtown Jets as well. And Jesse Coloquan. I can't pronounce his name. Now, I'm saying the Sharks. This is going to be a blowout game for the Sharks, and I think the Sharks will win this 13 plus. I can't see the Dragons winning this game, and even though this is a derby, you expect it to be close, but at the moment, I think the Sharks are getting some big players back. They're still full strength, and the Dragons, they got Jack Bird out, and Moses Sully is a surprising one. And to be honest, based on form, I think the Sharks will put 50 on them, 50 or 60 points on them. So I would say it'd be 68 points to 12 or 18, whatever. Like, I expect it to be close at half time, and then the Sharks will just blow away with it towards the end, because some of these guys play in the back end of the halves, and we'll see what happens then. So, the first try scorer, I'll go with Ronaldo Mulatalo. And I think Matthew Fiona will score one at some point. So, Sharks, 13 plus. Now, a Friday night fun event fest. Co-events, because we have two incredible games to get through, and I cannot wait for this. And it starts with a co-event of the whole entire round of Beanies for Brain Cancer round. It's the Warriors up against the New Zealand Warriors up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, the Warriors, they had a very impressive win over the weekend. Shaun Johnson, I'd say, is getting back to his 2011 form when the Warriors went to the grand final to play against Manly. And I tell you now, this Warriors side is going to be a tough one to beat. And for the Rabbitohs, well, they were very disappointed last week over the loss to the Cowboys, 31 points to 6, and ideally they need to win this game if they want to get back into this top 4 battle and top first place battle, and they've got to get by this Warriors side at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. Now, as for the Warriors, the home team, Charles Nickel-Kluxter's at fullback, Dallin Martinez-Lesniak and Marcelo are the wingers, so clearly almost 1 through to 17. Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey. Halves, pretty much the same. Shaun Johnson and Luke Metcalf. I honestly, I keep saying this, Shaun Johnson's been in his best form. Adam Fanua-Blake and Bunty Afoa are front rowers, and Wade Egan is at hooker. Now, the back rowers. Jackson Ford, Josh Curran is back, I'm pretty sure. No, not yet. Josh Curran and Tohu Harris is at lock. Interchange bench, Dylan Walker, Mitch Barnett is back. Bailey Sirinen and Tom Alley. And Freddie Lassick, Braden Williami and Ronald Volkman are the reserves for the Warriors. Now let's move on to this informed Rabbitohs side, still without Latrell Mitchell. Jacob Host and Jed Cartwright are out. Murata Niokore is out. That's probably why Ronaldo Mulatalo's... Josh Curran's on the... Sorry, Jackson Ford's on the... in number 11. As for the Rabbitohs, Blake Taff is still filling in for Latrell Mitchell. Hopefully he'll be back sometime in the later part of the season. The wingers pretty much the same, Alex Johnston and Richard Kenner. The centres pretty much the same, Isaiah Tass and Campbell Graham. The halves, Lachlan Ilias and Cody Walker. I hope Cody gets to play at his best, because he didn't play very well last week for for the Bunnies. Forward pack. Tavita Totola and Hame Sele are the forwards, and Cook is back in the dummy half role. Hopefully he is okay now, and the second row is Keon Katilamatan is back after Origin. Michael Cheekham and Cam Murray are the back rowers and the lock forward. Well, modern day lock forward. Interchange bench. Saliva Harvili returns in his first. I think this is his first game of the year. I'm not sure. I'll have a look. Shaquay Mitchell, David Mawali, and Tom Burgess. I don't know why would they put Tom Burgess on the bench. Beyond me. The reserves. Tyron Monroe, Tane Milne, Dean Hawkins, Tina Menezes, and Jacob Gagai. Now, Tane Milne was a chance of playing because he's in the side, and they probably need him actually, Tane Milne. Very, very tough. I'm surprised the Rabbitohs are not favourites in this game. I know they're 8th, and they haven't been in great form. They've been winning once in the past 2 games. Warriors have been outstanding. They've won 4 in a row now. It's a really tough game to pick, really, because these two have been in good form, and even though the Rabbitohs are at 8th spot at the moment, they've lost 2 in a row now, because of all the 8s congested and all that. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs here. The Rabbitohs have won the past 5 games against the Warriors, and they had a really good game in Magic Round the last time they played up in Magic Round, and I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I really do, and I know the coaches aren't going to be happy about the high scoring and all that, but I really think this is going to be a real attacking footy because South always attack with shape, and Sean Johnson's been in career best form. I'd say he's back to his 2011 form when they made the grand final to play Manly, and obviously they lost that grand final. I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs by 4. You know why? I'm going to go the Rabbitohs by 4, and I'm going to say it'd be the same scoreline, or probably even. Actually, no, I'm going to go the Rabbitohs by 2. I'm going to say the Rabbitohs will win 24 points to 22. I know that's not a low scoring in rugby league standards, but because there's only like 6 or 4 tries scored, but I'm going to go the Rabbitohs 24 points to 22. I reckon the Warriors will score first, though. I know, when the Rabbitohs give up the first try, they're not going to win. I'll tell you now, I could say the Rabbitohs will score first with Alex Johnston, but I'm going to go the Warriors to score first, and I'm going to go Dallin Martinez-Lesniak, who had an absolute fantastic game against the Dragons. He tore them to shreds. They were nowhere last week, the Dragons, I can tell you now, and they're going to be nowhere for the rest of the season. They are done. Now, next up, and I tell you, this is going to be an absolute cracker. It is the 2020 Grand Final rematch. The Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers. Now, as for the Panthers, they get some, and the Melbourne Storm get some big Origin star back, I should say. And this is going to be at Marvel Stadium because Melbourne, Amy Park are running the A-League finals or wherever it is. They're running over there, so that's why we're going to see some 2 epic games at Marvel Stadium in the next couple of weeks. And this is going to be the main course of the Friday night footy. The Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers. Let's get it and see what they have lined up for us. As for the Melbourne Storm, Nick Meaney Nick Meaney is at fullback. The wingers, pretty much the same. Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates backing up from Origin 2 times a week, which is good. Remus Smith and Justin Olam are the centres. The halves, Munster is back after a thrashing on the Blues in Game 2, which I'm very disappointed about the Blues. We'll get through that review in, I think, when Origin finishes, we'll do the review. And Jerome Hughes is at halfback. The forward packs, Tarek Sims and Christian Welsh. Harry Grant is back. Harry Grant is at hooker. And second row is Trent Liero and Big Nelson Osofa Solomona. And Josh King is at lock. And the interchange bench, Bronson Garlick, Alec McDonald, Tui Kapakamitha, and Kane Bradley. This is his second NRL appearance after a very good first game for the Storm last week. As for the Penrith Panthers now, last time these two have played in Melbourne was 2018 and the Panthers beat them. And that's a little history for you. And as for the Panthers, Dylan Edwards, who's, again, the biggest meter reader in the competition, he has been outstanding. I don't know why Freddie hasn't picked him for New South Wales. Freddie, if you're watching this show, you got to pick different Dylan Edwards. He has been the most informed fullback. Now, as for the wingers, Saliva Taruva and Brian Toto backing up from Origin, and the centres, Isaac Tago and Stephen Crichton. Crichton backing up from Origin. Honestly, he was one of New South Wales' bests on the weekend. As for the halves, Jack Cogger and Jerome Loy. Get Jerome Loy out of the team. I'm telling you now. He has dropped off since the wedding, since the drama on field that he's been doing. He should not be playing for New South Wales or for the Panthers. Any team, kick him out. Hope I don't get blocked for that. Forward packs. Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris, and Mitch Kenny is at hooker. As for the second rowers, Scott Sorensen and Liam Martin backing up from Origin, and also Isaiah Yeo backing up from Origin at lock. And still no Nathan Cleary, unfortunately, until the later part of the year, and that's going to be a big test for everybody because when Nathan comes back, he's going to be putting up the big bombs. Now, the interchange bench, Sonny Luke, who's been playing some good footy, Lindsay Smith, Spencer Leniu, and Jamin Salmon. Now, I've been really impressed with Spencer Leniu for the Panthers, and again, Freddie should be looking in him as well. Spencer Leniu has been playing some good footy. Reserve Zach Hosking, who's been playing some good footy. Matt Eisenhuth, Luke Garner, Tyron Peachy, and Tom Jenkins. There's the Storm reserves if you want to have a look. Tips. It's saying that Melbourne's the favourites here, but I honestly think that the Panthers are the favourites because they just rip teams to shreds. They're not used to being behind, and this will be a big test for this young Panthers team. Without Nathan Cleary being there, it's going to be a big test. And who else have they got out? I think that's all they got out, Nathan Cleary. But we're not worried about Liam Henry because he's not in the 13 every week. Now, it's a very tough game and a very close game. I think this will be the match of the year, regardless. Match of the season, match of the century, whatever you want to call it. This is it. If you want to go to the game, Marvel Stadium, there's the tickets. If you want to watch the game, you can watch it on 9 now, KO or Foxtel, whatever. And if you're overseas, go to KO, look it up, get the app. I know it's cost $25. It'll be cost cheaper at sorry, too much talky. I'm gonna go the Panthers. I'm gonna go the Panthers. I think the Panthers by. I think this could go to Golden Point. I really do. I think this could go to Golden Point at some stage. This could come down to a field goal, and I'm going to go the Panthers by one, but I reckon it'll be a low scoring. I reckon it'll be low scoring. I reckon it'll be the Panthers 17-16 over the Melbourne Storm. But I'm going to go Melbourne scoring first, and I'm going to go Melbourne. I'm going to go. I'm going to go just. I'm going to go Xavier Coates because he'll be targeting. Because Munster will be targeting on Brian To'o's side, and that's where. That's where Will Warbrick is. It could be out of Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates to score first, and I reckon he'll be targeting Little Saliva Taruba all game. Targeting Saliva Taruba all game, and I think Coates will outjump him a couple of times to score a try. And at any time, I'm going to go to get the Panthers into Golden Point and to kick the winning field goal, Stephen Crichton. And you know why? That is actually my tip of the round. Stephen Crichton to score the try to send Panthers into Golden Point and to kick the winning field goal in that game. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. So I don't know what other people's predictions going to be, but that's mine. That's mine. So that's what I think. Crichton, a try and a field goal to Penrith to win 17-16 and Melbourne to score first. Match of the round. Match of the year. And Super Saturday kicks off. We have the Canberra Raiders, the informed Canberra Raiders, and the Gold Coast Titans, who recently have sacked their coach, Justin Holbrook, and their assistant coach. I don't know who their assistant coach is because I haven't seen their coach, and I'll have a look at that when they show us the team lists. Now, at GIO Stadium, the Canberra Raiders are at home against the Gold Coast Titans. I will rephrase that. As for the Raiders, Josh Papali'i is out with an injury after that injury against the Roosters last week, which the Raiders won in that game. Sebastian Kris is at fullback. Albert Hopewadi and Jordan Rapana on the wings. The skipper Jarrod Croker playing his 310th match. I think it's 310th. Could be wrong. It could be 301, sorry. 302nd NRL match. And Matthew Timoko is the other centre. The halves, Jack Whiten and Jamal Fogarty are the halves. Forward pack, Sami Solo and Joseph Tarpany. Again, Joseph Tarpany's been playing some very good footy. Zach Wilfred is at hooker. Hudson Young backing up from Origin this second week against Elliot Whitehead. And Elliot Whitehead are the back rowers. And at lock, Corey Horsburgh. Big Red, who's been playing some very good footy as of late. And honestly, if Billy Slater wants to pick some good players, I reckon Corey Horsburgh will be somewhere in that Queensland squad. Now, the interchange bench for the Raiders, Tom Starling, Emre Gula, Nick Kotrick, and Ada Baroda. And as for the Gold Coast Titans, actually, they're not showing the coaches. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll have a look on my phone. Alright, as for the Titans, AJ Brimson's at fullback. Alfumia, Khan Pereira, and Philip Sami are the wingers. YouTube video.
Good night. Should be in bed, Anthony. You should have a shower by now.
Shh, I'm on a video.
Shush. Me?
That's what shh, not shush. As for the centers, Brian Kelly and Aaron Shop. As for the halves, Kieran Foran and Tanner Boyd at 5'8" and halfback. Forwards, Marty Fodawaker back. Sam Barrels and Tino Fasilmalaawi. Is it prop? David Fafita. As for the back row, it's David Fafita and Joe Stimson and Isaac Liu is at lock. Interchange bench, Jaden Campbell, Aaron Clark, Jamin Jolliffe, and Chris Randall is 1 through 17, and here are the reserves if you want to have a look at the reserves. Alright. Next game on the Super Saturday is the informed Brisbane Broncos and the Dolphins, Wayne Bennett's Dolphins, at the Gabba. Another showdown at the Gabba. Now, this is the second ever Battle of Brisbane. Now, as for the Broncos were very disappointing against the Titans to lose by 6, and Reece Walsh, man, swearing at the referee. He said, "Oh, I'm blaming on Pat Carrigan." Yeah, whatever. You're not blaming on anybody, mate. You're blaming on yourself. As for the Dolphins, positive signs against Parramatta in the second half. They were behind by 42-4 at half time, and then when we came out in the second half, they were clearly the better team in the second half. And anyway, a win's a win again for Parramatta, but ideally we should have played better in the second half. As for the Broncos, Reece Walsh is at fullback, Corey Oates and Selwyn Cobbo is back on the wing. Tony Staggs and Herbie Farmworth are the centres. Ezra Mann and Adam Reynolds are the halves. Now, Adam Reynolds, ideally, has been in career best form, and he's been really eyeing up for this young Broncos team. And clearly, he's been playing very good footy for the Broncos. And Cam Policia and the forwards, Cam Policia and Payne Haas, and Billy Walters is at hooker. And the back rowers, Brendan Priorica, Xavier Williamson, and Pat Carrigan. I think that's for in for Jordan Ricky and also Kurt Catewell. Interchange bet Tyson Smoothie, Corey Jensen, Kobe Hetherington, and Martin Tapau. The reserves, here they are. As for the Dolphins, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow at fullback. Jermaine Osako is the goal kicker, and Tessie New are the wingers. Ewan Aiken and Valence Stafare are the centres. The halves are Isaiah Katoa and Sean O'Sullivan. I'm doing a YouTube video.
Hi guys, it's T-Rex that are just doing a cameo. Okay, good night, Batman. It's bedtime.
Good night, T-Rex. Forwards, Jesse Bromwich and Big Herman SA, or SESE, whatever you want to say. Jeremy Marshall King is at hooker. The second rowers are Felice Kafusi, Kenny Bromwich, and Ray Stone. Experience full forward pack. Interchange bench, Josh Kerr, Mark Nichols, the GOAT Mark Nichols, and Connolly Lelu, and Cody Nikarima is the utility, and he will be an X factor. Don't doubt about that. And I think this is going to be closer than people think. Because the Dolphins have shown at stages that they can compete. They can compete, and they've shown at the beginning of the year they competed with big teams. They beat the Roosters early in the year. If they could pick off the Broncos, I reckon they could be right in that 8th spot. And I said this at the start of the year. Once the big teams will start picking up some momentum, because we saw a couple of the bottom 8 clubs in that top 8. And I said this, if for the big teams to start picking up form, like Melbourne, Eels, Cowboys, they've done that. They've done that. They've picked up form, and it's starting to become fruition. And honestly, I think one of those big teams are going to miss out, and I think that's the Cowboys at the moment, because Parramatta have played themselves in for this year, and I'm going to go. I reckon this could go possibly. I reckon this will be the Broncos winning this by 6 or 2, by 1-12. So I'm going to go the Broncos by 2, but I reckon it'll be a low scoring, because the Dolphins at time they showed why they can compete with big teams, and even though last week it was 48-20, but they showed at times in the second half that they wanted to play, and they came out to play. Even when they started the game, they were up 4-0, and from there it just went worse. But they came out with plenty of intent, and I think that's what they're going to do against the Broncos. And I think I'm going to go the Broncos to score first, though. I'm going to go first try scorer is Selwyn Cobbo at any time. I like Ewan Aiken at any time for the Dolphins. So I'm going to go Broncos 18-16. 18-16. The Broncos over the Dolphins 18 points to 16. Oh, oops, I missed a game. Sorry. The informed Cowboys are finally picking up some form over the West Tigers, now at Leichhardt at Brooks' 200th, the last ever game at Leichhardt. The Cowboys put off a massive upset against the Cowboys, which were obviously second last year, and they won 66-18, and I actually tipped that as well, the West Tigers, that they put on a massive upset, and I think, could this happen? I said 2 times in a row? We'll see. On Saturday at 5:30 p.m. at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, and that will probably be embarrassing for the home fans of the Cowboys. As we look at the Cowboys lineup, Scott Drinkwater is at fullback, Semi Valame and Murray Taulagi are the wingers. Valentine Holmes and Peter Hiku are the centres. Now, Staffatoa absolutely manhandled Valentine Holmes the last time these two sides met. Are we going to get the same mentality from the Tigers? And as for the halves, Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend are the halves. For the forwards, Jordan McLean, Cohen Hess, and Reece Robson. Reece Robson's a hooker, I should say, backing up from Origin. He did back up from Origin last week, sorry. The back rowers, Luciano Leilua, Jeremiah Nanai, and Ruben Cotter. Now, they originally were in the reserve spots, and they came in to play Origin, and it looked like they didn't leave the spot. Interchange bench, Jake Granville, Griffin Neem, and Jermaine Tanoa Brown, and Kelefu Fuiaki, who's been playing some good footy. And as we look for the Tigers, we've come off the bye. Backs, fullback, Jareem Buller, who's playing some very, very good footy. David Nofaluma and Junior Tupou are the wingers. Brett Naden is back for the Tigers, and Stafford Toa, who was a manhandle the last time these two sides played. Dane Laurie is back, and this time he's playing in an unfamiliar position at 5'8" with Brandon Wakeham. Forward pack, Stefano Uto Ikamanu backing up from Origin, and Jake Simpkins at hooker, and David Clemmer is the other forward. Second rowers, Isaiah Papali'i, Sean Bloor, and John Bateman, who is the skipper. Taylor De Silva, so the bench, Taylor De Silva, Fanua Polly, Alex Twal, who scored his first ever NRL tries after over 100 games. Congrats to you, Alex Twal, on your first try, which was a great try, by the way, if you want to go watch that Tigers and Storm match. Even though they lost convincingly, it was a happy day for the Tigers that Alex Twal scored. And Asu Kapoa is at 17. Here are the Tamalolo. 19th, Kyle Felt. Not playing. This is unusual.
Yeah, every day you come in.
Why would they put Felt and Tamalolo in the reserves? That could really, really hurt for the Tigers, for the Cowboys. But ideally, actually, I'm thinking of an upset. I was going to think of an upset, but with Appy Coruscant still out, I think the Cowboys will win. I think the Cowboys will win, but I think the Tigers will give them a run for their money. I really do. I'm going to go the Cowboys by 2 here, but I think it'll be a low scoring game. I'm going to say, because the Tigers haven't scored much points, even though they scored heaps of points, their highest score ever since they joined forces with Balmain, and the Cowboys were very disappointing the last time these two sides met, and I think it'll be a very tight, low-scoring game, and I reckon this will be the worst game of the year, to be honest. I'd say it'll be the Cowboys, I reckon 12 points to 10. Well, I could be wrong. It could be also a blowout if the Tigers don't show up and don't play some big minutes, but I'll have a look at the lineups and see what else is out there and what changes that Todd Payton and Tim Sheens is going to be, because Todd Payton was not happy the last time the Cowboys played against the Tigers. So I'm going to go the Cowboys by 12 points to 10. I could change that where the way the Tigers have been playing, so it could be a blowout too. So we don't know. I'm just giving the Tigers fans a bit of hope. Anyway, first try scorer, I'm going to go Valentine Holmes. Valentine Holmes, he scored a double last week, in fact, against the Rabbitohs, which they they blew the Rabbitohs out of the park. 31 points to 6, and no one expected them to win that game. I didn't expect them to win that game, but I expected them to play hard and it would be close, but they just blew the Rabbitohs off the park, which they didn't look like playing the Bunnies anyway. So, we move on to Sunday footy. The Bulldogs and the Knights. At a Accor Stadium in Sydney. Now, as for the Bulldogs, Hayes Perham is at fullback. Jacob Carraz and Josh Adokar, the Fox, on the wings. And Jake Averillo, who's been, honestly, he has been the best Bulldogs back by a mile. Best Bulldogs back in the between centre, fullback, winger. He's been the best by a mile. Hayes Perrin's been outstanding. Jacob Carraz has been outstanding. Paul Alamotti done really well his first. Fox, not as quick as he was now, but he's still playing good footy. And the halves are Kay, Hild, Rajab, and Matt Burton is at halfback. I don't know why it still says Burton halfback, but that's because of all the dropness the Bulldogs have and injuries the Bulldogs have had. And the forward packs, Max King has honestly been outstanding for the Bulldogs. And Tavita Pangai Jr. and Reed Marnie is at hooker. Jaden Ockenbaugh and Jacob Preston, who's done a really good job in his first season as well as an NRL player. He's done really, really well. Curtis Moran is at lock on debut, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. Interchange Bet Harrison, Edwards, Ryan Sutton, and Franklin Pele. And as for the Newcastle Knights, Dane Gagai is out. Caleb Ponga is at fullback. Dominic Young and Greg Marju are the wingers. Anami Tarala returns with Bradman Best. This has got to be the best, well, not the best Newcastle lineup, but with Dane Gagai not there, I think he's got an injury or something, or has been dropped, I'm pretty sure. The halves, Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings. Forward packs is Daniel Saifidi and Leo Thompson, and Phoenix Crossland is at hooker. Second rowers are Tyson Frizzell and Lachlan Fitzgibbon. He is back. Lock is Adam Elliott. Interchange bet Kurt Mann, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, and Matt Croker. These are the reserves. Honestly, I don't know why Kyle Flanagan is still in the reserves. He's been playing good footy in the reserves and deserves a second chance. Anyway, that's my opinion. Now, this is a very tough game to pick. Very, very tough game to pick as well. Even though the Bulldogs are running 15th, they should have won some of their games. They should have won against the Roosters. They didn't play well against Parramatta. They should have played well against Parramatta. I expected more against Parramatta. They were very disappointing in their last game against the Sharks, and they're coming off a bye. I think they'll win this one. I think this is going to be a very close game, and they've got a good record against the Knights in previous years and over the years as well. But I'm going to go the Bulldogs by 8. I am going to go the Bulldogs by 8. I'm going to say the Bulldogs 20 points to 12. I'm not saying the Bulldogs win this 20 to 12. I'd say it 26 points to 18 or something like that, because Newcastle have got plenty of points, and honestly, they should have put 60 points to the Panthers last week, and I said the Panthers would come out firing and come out and play, even with the younger blokes, and I'm going to go the Bulldogs by 8, 26 points to 18. Now, this last game of the round of Beanie's Brains Cancer round, it's the Manly Seagulls up against the Sydney Roosters. The 10-year anniversary of the 2013 NRL Grand Final. Finalists of last year celebrate the 10th anniversary of the 2013 Grand Final of the Seagulls and the Roosters. And Manly, honestly, they played alright against Melbourne, but honestly, the second half was not up to standard. Melbourne just blew them off the park, and the Roosters were on a comeback against the Raiders last week, and honestly, the Roosters, the first half was awful for the Roosters. They only scored one try at the end to get it back into the game, and they should have taken the penalty goal to make it by 6, and then they would have had a kick from one of the posts and made it 20 all, and probably would have gone to goal point from then onwards. But anyway, they lost 20 points to 18. We're not going to talk about that. Manly, on the other hand, they get some players back as we look through the lineups for the home team here at 4 Pines Park. Ruben Garrick is at fullback, coming in for the injured Tom Trbojevic, who's out for the season. Jason Saab and Christian Tuipulotu are the wingers. Brad Parker is back. That is a big in for Manly. And Totu Kola is the other centre. Josh Schuster, who's just announced his re-signing with the Manly Seagulls. I bet you he played back rower because they got a new signing coming in next year. They got Luke Brooks coming in for a 4-year deal. And Daly Sherry-Evans, the captain, is at halfback. Forward pack is Taniela Paseka and Curtis Sipley, or Tutufoto Sipley, and Lachlan Croker is at hooker. Back rowers Hemeli Olukwatu and Kalama Tuolangi, and Jake Trbojevic is back at lock. This is a big in for Manly, but is he going to play? Who knows? Interchange bench. Another Trbojevic is in. Ben Trbojevic is the utility. Josh Aloier and Ethan Bullymore and Aaron Woods are the bench. As for the Roosters, James Tedesco is at fullback. Daniel Tupou and Joseph Suwali are the wingers, or Suwali, whatever. Centers, Billy Smith and Joseph Manu, or Joey Manu. Halves pretty much the same, Luke Keary and Sandon Smith. The forward pack, the same, Jared Ruya-Hargreaves and Lindsay Collins and Jake Turpin's at hooker for the injured Brandon Smith. Back rowers. This is interesting. Victor Radley is moved to an edge, and Nefanu White is playing at the second rower. Is both playing on the edge. And Nathan Brown at lock. This is a big. I reckon Nathan Brown will do well. The interchange bench. Drew Hutchison is at 14. Terrell May, Saul Wong, and Fletcher Baker returns for the Roosters. The Baker is back. Oh, that's why. No, Angus Crichton, Egan Butcher. That's why. They moved to that area. Honestly, I think this could go down to the wire. I really do. I'm going to go the Roosters, though. I'm going to go the Roosters by 2. I reckon it'll be 24 points to 22. I reckon the Roosters win by 24 points to 22. And first try scorer, I'm going to go Daniel Tupou to get closer to Anthony Minicello for the Roosters for the Roosters. So there you have it. My NRL tips. If you want to see more, drop a like. It really helps me out a ton. The more likes, the more views, more subscribers you get it, right? So like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you next time. Remember, it's not who you are that's underneath. It's what you do that defines you.